From the Ford Center in Evansville, Indiana, it's the Valley on ESPN. The Illinois State Redbirds taking on the Evansville Purple Aces. Welcome to our broadcast here this afternoon. Glad to have you along. Alongside Preston Leinenbach, I'm Kyle Peach, and partner of the series finale. Two teams kind of right now trending in opposite directions.
That's exactly right. Evansville looking to continue their win streak. It's 4 in a row at the moment. Illinois State, they're 0-3 in conference play. They're looking to get off the schneid with the win here today.
Evansville sits tied for third in the conference standings right now. Again, as you said, Illinois State looking for their first win. Looking back to the game yesterday, a couple of bright spots for the Redbirds.
Yeah, a couple bright spots for the Redbirds. As we take a look back, some of the Redbirds that have stand out the most, you got Horn, you got Strong, and you got Antonio Reeves. All of them were in the mix yesterday, contributing in positive ways. They're just looking to get a little bit more consistency out of the entire bunch of Redbirds for Illinois State going forward. And then for Evansville, the bright spot for them that's been this year has been Shamar Givens and Juwan Newton. They're both showing improvements in their game and kind of taking over the scoring title lead, if you will, for the Purple Aces.
Yesterday, here's how it looked. The Redbirds had the lead at the break. Evansville finished strong, a 7+ minute drought down to Illinois State.
Yeah, it was kind of a back and forth game, right? A game of runs yesterday, but in the end, it was Evansville who had that final big push to get the win yesterday and extend their streak to 4 games.
As we take a look at the coaches for today's game, Dan Muller in his 9th season, the 2017 MVC Coach of the Year. Trying to find that first Valley win of the season here on the road in Evansville. And Todd Licklider, his second year at the helm, the former head coach at Butler, obviously did some great things there and trying to resurrect the Evansville program off to a 4-1 start in Missouri Valley Conference play.
And so far, so good for this conference season, right? Last year, he came in kind of in the middle of the fold, couldn't quite really make the adjustments he wanted to. Now he's had the full off-season, or what they were allowed to have, should I say. And then plus, now going into this part of the season, and Evansville seems to have kind of picked up and bought into what he's preaching.
We are set for basketball, the series finale between the Redbirds and the Aces, and Evansville wins the tap. They will have it first. Time to take a look at the starting lineups presented by Cytex, supplying uniforms, linens, mats, and more since 1961. Cytex, the image makers. So the Redbirds actually get that ball first. The Redbird starters, now the Aces starters, including Givens and Newton, as we detailed earlier, big games yesterday for both of those guys.
Yeah, for Juwan Newton, matching his career high that he set earlier this year against Eastern Illinois with 19 points in yesterday's contest.
You know, the uniform switch-up got me on that one. Do you see that? The home team's not wearing white. Picking up where he left off, Shamar Givens dials in the 3 for the orange-clad Purple Aces.
Yeah, the jersey swaps in Game 2 of a 2-game back-to-back, kind of a courtesy to team managers. And obviously, you know, more of a safety situation for them as well. But Evansville coming out with their alternative oranges.
Mahorchich finishes inside and gets fouled, so he'll go for the 3-point play the hard way.
His first personal. The team's first.
Mahorchich just a 33% shooter at the line this season. Plus, I think we've got a lane violation to boot. And they say the Aces jumped in first. And I'm not sure that was right, but that's what they call. Never have seen drama on a lane violation call before, as Noah Frederking did not like that call at all. And it cost them a point as Mahorchich able to put in the and one on the second go-around. All right, so there's your interesting start to a 3-3 ball game. Let's take a look at your keys to the game, Preston Leinenbach.
So for Illinois State yesterday, I saw that they only went 18 of 42, only 42 attempts. I think they got to create more possessions, get more attempts. Even though they have to go against a tough Evansville defense, that's just not enough, no matter who you're playing. You got to get more offensive looks. And they got to be disciplined inside. They got to be able to limit the fouls they commit and also make sure that they kind of contain Evansville to being one-dimensional as much as they can. For Evansville, the one thing Coach Licklider has mentioned is that he wants his team to stay the course, do what they do. You know, yesterday they were a little surprised by the pressure and the full court, maybe the zone defense at times. They just got to stay with themselves, but yet not be surprised here today. Nice three by Kuhlman there. Now for Evansville going the other end, they got to get back on defense. They can't allow any fast break points, which Illinois State did have a good advantage of yesterday in terms of their positive offensive output.
And those keys to the game presented by Old National Bank, your bank for life. A take and the finish left short. Evansville looking to run out a bit. Now we'll slow it up and get set in the half court. The Aces throughout this season, not the highest scoring team by far, but maybe one of the more patient, disciplined teams. They're not afraid to work it late in the shot clock. As Frederick King does everything but put that one in the bottom of the net. It rattles out.
And for Evansville getting a win yesterday despite not scoring 60 points, which we know they've had trouble with in recent years.
Was it 20-plus games they had lost without scoring above that 60-point threshold, and that streak ended yesterday. Little shuffle pass back behind to Levitch. Hit the deck after the shot rims out, no good. And now Reeves in trouble, double teamed. Fredericking takes the ball away. Now Fredericking double teamed on the baseline. Had a rough game yesterday, did Noah Fredericking, the senior for the Aces. Only 2 points to show for his efforts yesterday. And Newton misses from long range there.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought going into yesterday's game that between Evan Kuhlman and Noah Fredericking, the two seniors, would be a combined 6 points, right? They've been true leaders for this team going back to last year into this year. And for Evansville, they do have that scoring depth where, again, yesterday Givens and Newton picked up the slack.
Strong with the basket there for Illinois State. They need him to be strong to try and right the ship. 2 points out of a 1-for-2 start for the day for Josiah Strong. Back to the Aces and getting contributions from different people at different times as the pass is airmailed there by Givens. The Aces coach Todd Licklider talking yesterday about his team's resiliency. He said at one point in time he looked at his team, they looked kind of dejected, which they hadn't really been at this point in the season, and got that fire lit in them to kind of persevere through. And despite some lackluster efforts by some of their key pieces, they were able to find a way to win yesterday.
And that's, again, part of them staying the course, not just doing what they do in terms of schemes, but also in terms of their attitude, right? And in that case, nice basket there by Illinois State to take the lead. When things aren't going well, especially when Evansville's won 3 in a row, right? Then you start kind of falling behind. Things aren't going well as planned. Do you start panicking, kind of getting a little frantic? Or as you said, they got a little dejected. But this team's mentally tough, and they're going to, again, lift their heads up and come back out here and play today.
Fredericking misses from the baseline. Redbird's trying to capitalize after the three-point shot by Sissoko the other trip down. Spinning inside to the basket. Mohorčić with the finish on a nice spin move inside.
Yeah, nice move, and I think Inaruda might have got a piece of that, but just not hard enough of a swat to take it out of Mohorčić's hands. And he got it up in the basket.
Newton for 3. A good look, but rattles out.
Evansville, that's what they like to do. They like to shoot the 3 ball. They've done it a lot this year, and for the most part, they've been successful. Yesterday was the first time where we've seen Evansville as a team kind of struggle from three-point land, really since the beginning of the season.
And that shot is pure from the top from Boyd. And Illinois State is out of the gate well. Todd Licklider calls for time. The Redbirds, in search of their first conference win, looking strong here early. Back inside the Ford Center here in Evansville, a hot start to the game for Illinois State as they lead Evansville 13-6.
You see our official today, Amy Bonner, did a couple of Valley games already this year, but known for her work in the big-time games, the Big 10, Big 12, NCAA tournament games. She's also usually very much assigned to the MVC tournament up at Hoops in the Heartland at the end of the year. But for Illinois State, off to a good start, though.
Yeah, I had the chance to meet her kind of by chance before the game. I went into the area where I normally get my tie on and straight so I don't look silly for you on TV, and ran into her, just a super nice lady, and great conversation about her time on the court, and good to see her here in Evansville this afternoon. So a hot start for Illinois State. They're the team in white today, 5 of 9 from the floor. Evansville has struggled just 2 of 8, and as is kind of their mantra, 6 of the 8 shots have come from beyond the arc line so far, cashing in on 2 of those.
Yeah, yesterday Evansville struggled from 3. Today, off to a slow start, shooting-wise, and you got to give credit to Illinois State's defense, especially the way they're guarding around the perimeter. I mean, right there, a shot clock violation. Evansville not really aware of the situation coming out of the timeout, and that's something that's got to kind of shake the coaching staff's heads a little bit. But for Illinois State's defense and the kind of mixing with that little matchup zone, especially around the perimeter and playing in the face of the Aces, Redbirds, again, threw that at the Aces yesterday. Evansville took a while to kind of get used to it, and I still don't know if they got used to it yet here today, and now a collision between 2 players away from the basketball.
Yeah, just ran, I think, into each other. As
it's like Levitch and Jai kind of got mixed up a little bit.
Let's see if we can pick it up here. Oh,
Just
goodness.
Hard screen action.
Oh,
Man.
nothing bad about that other than ouch. Inadvertent. The official saw it and halts play to give both these guys a chance to shake the cobwebs loose. Jai is, I think, the worst for wear. He'll check out. Levitch is also checking out of the game here for the Aces. Both of them will visit the training staffs of their respective benches and hopefully get back on the court here soon. So back to basketball after the collision there. Redbirds trying to keep the hot start going. Kind of seemed like a team on the mission starting this game today, looking for that first Valley win. That 3 rattles out and will carry them out of bounds.
Right, and even though, again, there's still some teams in the Valley that haven't played an equal number of games, right, because of COVID protocols and whatnot, this Illinois State team, they don't want to fall into an 0-4 hole in the Valley standings. That's tough to dig out of, especially for them where they're lacking some experience, right? They're not made the most talented Redbirds team we've seen in years past.
Trey Hall on the court for the Aces. Evansville fans noting that he wears number 44 now. As uniform switch mid-season. A 10-0 run for the Redbirds continuing, and with the shot clock getting late once again, Shamar Givens forces his way into contact and picks up the foul. And you can't say enough about the job that Givens has done, kind of captaining this squad at times, taking this Evansville squad and putting him on his back. The 5'10" player, just something special out of Toronto, Ontario, the junior guard for the Aces.
Right, he's always been able to dish it to his teammates. He's always been able to get some steals, but he has seen a climb in his scoring average from last year to this year by 9 points.
Turned it over that time and leads into a transition opportunity, and Horn cashes in. 10 points yesterday. 8th in the Valley in scoring, and Horn picks up 2 there.
Yesterday, 14 fast break points for the Redbirds, which was some of the positives, right? The bright spots to take out of yesterday's game for Illinois State. That's why Evansville's got to be able, even off turnovers, to try to hustle back and get set defensively.
Here is Inaruna. Ian Inaruna finds his way to the basket. A much-needed hoop for the Aces, ending an Illinois State run. The Redbirds had built a 10-point lead at one point yesterday before the Aces were able to rally back and win it in the second half.
And we've worked a few Evansville games already this year, and it seems like with each game, Inaruna's just getting more comfortable with where he fits in with his team.
That is a flush finish. Some big-time looks at the basket inside. Mahorcic again with authority for 2.
And he's given the Redbirds a good inside presence here early on. Only had 3 points yesterday, but he did have 11 rebounds. But earlier on this year, from the 3 games they played between December 5th and December 15th, he averaged 13 points per game. So we know that he's capable of putting up some tallies on the scoreboard.
And then did a good job defensively to get back to stop that effort by the Aces. The Redbirds looking good early. They lead Evansville by 9. Back here at the Ford Center in Evansville, Illinois State out of the gate well on top of Evansville by 9. And Preston, this is a squad in the Redbirds that is all underclassmen. No seniors on this roster. That's just something remarkable for the 7th time in school history. No seniors on the roster.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They had some coming in, but no active seniors at the moment, as you see with Fisher opting out, taking care of family as well. Chastain, Berniga retiring, which Chastain always seemed to give Evansville a lot of trouble because of his length defensively, as well as some of his hustle plays. But yeah, missing seniors. So this year, a little inexperienced, right? A lot of juniors, freshmen, sophomores. But that could pay dividends next year when this group is still together going into next season with that experience going forward.
Well, how about this stat, though? It's not all is lost with no seniors. In 4 of the previous 6 times that the Redbirds had no seniors, they made the NCAA tournament field or NIT tournament. That's not bad. Maybe you don't want seniors.
Right.
Just end it as a junior, everybody.
Yeah, but taking the calculation, thanks to the Illinois State staff for providing this for us, this is tied for the basically most inexperienced team in program history.
Officials halt play here. The shot clock had not reset. We're showing 16 as the Redbirds started to get near the timeline, so they will reset it. But you're right, just inexperience shows early in a season, especially a season where you're not able to get your full regimen of practices and scrimmages and things like that. So the Redbirds kind of learning on the fly a little bit, but a nice finish inside by the redshirt freshman, Arunas Sissoko there with the basket.
Yeah, Sissoko bodying up Trey Hall, the younger kind of, that doesn't quite have that muscle to him yet as a freshman for Evansville. And Sissoko just taking it right at him.
Largest lead of the series this weekend for Illinois State, 11. And Shamar Givens will take care of that for the Aces. A 3-ball for Givens. And he's up to 6 on the day.
And we talked about his growth, right? And especially in his scoring earlier. He hardly ever shot a 3 last year, and now he shoots it at a pretty good rate for this Aces team. And then also, as I mentioned, his savviness on the floor. Yesterday, I believe he was responsible for drawing 8 fouls against the Illinois State team. So he does a little bit of everything for this Evansville Purple Aces squad.
As you take a look at Givens comparing last year to this year, just exceptional growth. Even in the hair, it's grown great big for Shamar Givens from last year to this year. But boy, has he been something to watch, something special for Coach Todd Licklider.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to make his case for most improved player in the Valley, of course, with Black and Mosley from Missouri State kind of ahead of him right now in terms of their jump in scoring. So he still has a little work to do if he wants to get to that title. But what he has done in just his growth overall in every category, just going up, rebounds, assists. I mean, you can't ask for a better floor general, right, if you're the Purple Aces this year?
Yeah, something to behold in that small in stature frame of Givens. You see the timeout here by Illinois State, by the way, to kind of stop an Evansville run of sorts after an Aruna layup.
And I think, he may never say it, but being kind of undersized, that has to have a little extra incentive to kind of have a little extra feistiness on the floor, really want to attack guys just to kind of prove he can play with the big guys.
And speaking of those players in the conference under 6 feet tall, doing well, Givens, Penn, and Bourne. All right. So no seniors and be under 6 feet tall. That's the recipe for success, and that's what's done well for Evansville, at least on the height side of things. Illinois State historically doing well with no seniors on the roster, some things that you wouldn't normally expect to see.
Again, Evansville really getting through the full court pressure because it's kind of relaxed from the Redbirds, but once they get in the half court, it's the pressure around the perimeter from the Redbirds that's just been top-notch.
And Aruna's 3 is no good. Seeming as if Illinois State has gotten better defensively than where they were just yesterday and how they've defended Evansville. A team in Evansville that doesn't like to force the tempo. So from that standpoint, the backcourt pressure doesn't affect them that much, but it does limit the time they have when they get on the front court to try to find that good shot. Shot clock late for the Redbirds as Horn's attempt comes up empty.
You see the switch on the screen at top as well.
A foul away from the ball here on the Redbirds. Looks like it will be on Horn.
And they've done that a few times just because the Redbirds don't want to make sure they don't get caught in the screen where a three-point shooter can kind of slide over and slide open. Which, when you're talking about three-point shooters for Evansville, normally in the case this year, besides going into this weekend, it's basically been 1 through 5. Everybody can shoot it.
The Aces definitely have been monsters beyond the arc line. That three will not go for Evan Kuhlman. Just 4 points yesterday. Did have some foul trouble for Kuhlman. Yesterday, though, his streak of 17 straight games with a three came to an end.
Yeah, and he had a very nice weekend last weekend in that big sweep against Northern Iowa for Evansville with 17.5 points per game average between those two contests.
With that moving screen, DJ Horn picks up his second foul with 8:39 to go here in the first. Correction, that's his third foul. 3 fouls on Horn. My goodness, that's even worse than 2. He's on the bench and going to be there a bit.
Curtis could not finish that surprisingly enough, but he got his own miss.
And that three from Noah Frederking, it's nothing. Goes out of bounds. And Noah Frederking, we talked about how much of a catalyst he has been throughout this season for the Aces. The problem, though, is the last few games for Frederking just haven't been the same. As he started with 7 straight double-figure games and has not reached that 10-plus point mark in the last 3, going 9, 7, and 2 in his last 3 games in points scored. So looking to find that mojo that he had back at the start of the season. Bomb for 3 there. Comes up empty. For Curtis. Transition opportunity 3. Reeves no good. And a little lull in the action here.
Both sides kind of going cold here for a little bit.
And that pass is knocked out by Kuhlman.
And timeout on the floor.
Timeout on the floor here in Evansville. It is the Redbirds of Illinois State still in front. Back at the Ford Center, Illinois State leads this one by 8. First half action here. These two, a long-standing history in Missouri Valley Conference play. That partner has been dominated by Illinois State. That was until yesterday.
That's right. Yesterday, Evansville snapped, as you can see, that little losing skid they've had against the Redbirds with their last win against the Redbirds going back a few years. In fact, when Evansville got off to their other great Missouri Valley Conference start. And that was a win that Evansville got on the road at Redbird Arena, which is a very tough place to play in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Design set there, and Strong comes up empty at the basket. Both of these teams struggling offensively over the last few minutes. Evansville's not scored in over 3 minutes. Illinois State, right about now, has not scored in the last 3 minutes of play.
You just look at this defense. I mean, probably theoretically it's a 3-2 zone, but at times you see 4 players around the perimeter with only 1 inside presence for the Redbirds just because they're trying to lock up Evansville's three-point ability.
This time, it leads to a turnover as Curtis takes an extra step inside. So a very disruptive style of defense for the Redbirds.
And you would think, okay, so if you're Evansville, you'd think, okay, they're locking us up top. There has to be some space inside, right? But the rotations so far today have been pretty good for the Redbirds, kind of following players on the drive. And in that case, you saw a drive, and it led to a turnover because the path was closed off.
Things working defensively for the Redbirds. Turning, shooting, missing. Fleming that time. And somebody wants to score the next point. Not sure who it's going to be or when it's going to happen. It's been a bit. Frederking open in the corner. Big shot. The senior needed that one to go. So did the Aces. And Evansville's within 5.
Yeah, he needed that one. Like you said, he's kind of been cold of late, and he's still top 5 in MVC in three-point makes.
An errant pass will give it back to Evansville.
On the Redbirds, number 23, Aruna Sissoko. For the Aces, number 3, Juwan Newton.
Talk about Noah Frederiking having struggled a bit here in the last couple of games, but boy, has he stepped up for the Aces this year, his senior campaign.
Yeah, you take a look at the numbers and just more efficient all the way around, and a big part of it is, one, he has kind of slowed down the game, right, with the way he perceives it. It's not as fast-paced as it used to be for him, and Evansville's done a good job of getting him the ball in the right spot, put him in a position to be successful. And not only that, he's eaten up a lot of minutes this year on the court for Evansville, one of the top minutes per game players in the Missouri Valley Conference.
His senior counterpart, Evan Kuhlman, picks up the foul. It has been fun to watch Kuhlman battle inside against some of the bigger-bodied players that the Aces have seen in Missouri Valley Conference play. This time, a little too much contact. Got in some foul trouble yesterday, did Kuhlman, and picks up his second personal foul on the bump there, sending Mahorcic to the line. Mahorcic, there's not many fans here at the Ford Center, but
I was wondering if
he heard somebody saying something about free throw shooting, and he hits the first, looks over, gives them the be quiet sign, and missed the second.
Maybe got a little too antsy on that, right? Should have waited until after the second one, but because his numbers do show he's not a great free throw shooter, only 33% going into today's game, went 1 of 6 yesterday.
2 of 3 from the line, though, today. Hey, be quiet. I'm shooting. I like it.
I mean, if he's getting to the line, that means he's doing his job.
Levitch got kind of stuck in no man's land in the paint. That happens a lot in this zone. Here's Frederiking getting hot. Noah Frederiking's second 3.
Evansville getting back into it thanks to the senior now with 2 threes here in the last couple minutes for Fredericking. Now an offensive foul against the Redbirds.
That one will go on Sissoko.
You see there, kind of shoved off Levitch, and the referee called it right away. And we saw Levitch come back into the game. Now Jai back in the game for the Redbirds after those two collided earlier on a screenplay.
They probably don't care to see each other for a bit after what happened last time. Just a clean noggin knock. 10 to shoot for the Aces. Givens somehow got that pass free. Open shot from Levitch is good.
He doesn't score a lot, but he makes his three-point attempts. Top 5 in the Missouri Valley Conference in three-point percentage. Levitch in for his efficiency to shoot, as well as his rebounding ability.
3 to answer, will not go. Givens, what a play. Flying out of bounds. Airborne, able to throw it off of the defender. Not really defender, but from his counterpart from the Redbirds there. And Givens earns Evansville the possession.
I talked about his savviness earlier, right? Look at this.
Oh.
And able to stay in the air before touching the sideline in order to get in. That's just, wow.
And Evansville has erased an 11-point Illinois State lead. That was their largest lead of this series, as the Aces are on a 6-0 run. Givens. Fredericking, can he go 3 for 3? No. But Newton secures the offensive rebound, and the Aces get a second look. Eight to shoot from the foul line. Newton is pure.
And I was just thinking in my head, I've been watching Newton because he's been quiet in this game so far. He's been on the wing, where either Fleming has been on him or Sissoko. Even though Newton can kind of battle his own weight around with some of the bigger guys, the length of them have been kind of disturbing him a little bit. Great answer there by Reeves. So I thought if Evansville was getting Newton going, they got to get him off those lengthier guys. Get him toward the middle where the guards are, and they did just that. But Reeves stepping up with a big answer.
Confident with the shot. Stood back and admired as it went through the bottom of the net.
He had a solid game yesterday, 11 points for the Redbirds as they kind of spread out their scoring a little bit. Low scoring, but it was a balanced attack, though, in terms of the points on the board for the Redbirds roster.
5 to shoot. Givens going to have to create. He'll just chuck it and drain it from way downtown.
I tell you what, he is one of the most fun players to watch right now in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Inside take and finish for Fleming. Wanted the foul and didn't get it, but got the points to tie it back up.
And that's saying a lot because there's some electric players in the Missouri Valley Conference.
They left Givens alone. He says, "Are you kidding?" And hits another 3-ball.
I'm speechless. I really am. One, just seeing the play that he made on the other end of the floor to save that ball from going out of bounds, and then now hitting back-to-back threes with a hand in his face.
Had 15 points yesterday, 12 already today. We're not even done with the first half. Evansville by 3. Rough shot, but Boyd finds the bottom of the net. What an answer for the Redbirds.
Yeah, I thought at first maybe he was going to be stuck in no man's land as he kind of stopped his dribble, but able to create just enough space to get it over Givens.
They come out to double team Givens this time. Now Newton. Inaruna cannot find it.
Now, Inaruna, they think, okay, a lot of people think he's kind of a big, he's not known for shooting threes. Why is he stepping out and shooting it? He can shoot them. I watched him in warm-ups. He can hit the three-point shot. I think sometimes he's just rushing himself and not getting his body lined up to score up to the basket.
Doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but was 1 of 2 before that miss. Here's Jai from downtown. Redbirds back in front. The 6'9" redshirt sophomore from long range.
And that's just the game of basketball now, right? You see these post players, these taller guys just stepping out behind the arc, taking the three.
Both teams shooting better beyond the arc line than they are from the floor in total. About a 3-second difference between the shot clock and game clock as we come to the close of the first half. Givens, 5 to shoot. Newton fouled by Fleming. So, 5.6 seconds to go. First half. Come back for the wrap on the first period right after this. Closing seconds of the first half. Redbirds lead it by 2. Evansville will have the basketball. A foul on Illinois State sent us to break, and not over the limit yet on fouls, so Evansville has possession for the final 5.6 with no shot clock.
Is 5.6 seconds, and yet we just had the under 4 TV timeout, right? Because that stretch of play, well, in the middle part of this half, both teams just went on the drought. Neither one could score or do anything. And then all of a sudden, both teams decided they want to go back and forth. Evansville came back into this game. Shamar Givens taking over the helm on the court for the Purple Aces. And now one last attempt here for Evansville underneath their own basket. Chance to tie or take the lead.
If Evansville doesn't score in this final 5.6, they'll have a 2-minute scoring drought these last 2 minutes of game play. We'll see what the Aces drew up in the huddle. It's Givens, off balance. Circa's shot won't go. And that is the end of the first half of play. Well, similar to yesterday, the Redbirds are your leader at the break by 2. Both teams out getting set for the start of the second half. The Redbirds lead this one by 2. And obviously, similar story to yesterday, but some key players here in this first half, starting with Mahorcic for the Redbirds.
Yeah, Mahorcic came out aggressive, going inside with the basketball, being assertive, just finding his way to the basket. And you see this nice little give and go play, or coming off the screen, should I say, where the nice thread the needle pass, and then Givens on the other end for Evansville. Basically, after a cold start, he just went off for a little stretch and basically had one of those "Are you serious?" type of stretches for the Evansville Purple Aces, and putting up career numbers in terms of his 3-point shots made.
Just everything he was firing going through the cylinder there for that stretch for the Aces. And here's a look at the stat line. Again, kind of similar to yesterday. Even at the end of the game, you looked at this stat line, and Illinois State seemed to dominate every category except total points on the board.
That's exactly right. I mean, they did what they needed to do to win that game yesterday. But the difference right now, you see the points and the paint, the difference between the two. Evansville, of course, had a slow start from three where they couldn't make up that deficit. But the points and the paint, Mahorcic contributing to that big time. But Evansville did catch fire thanks to Givens, raised their shooting percentage up a little bit. But the Redbirds, look at that, 52%. I mean, that's an astounding number for a shooting percentage.
Take a look at the two stars of this game so far. Similar in statistics, not similar in stature.
Yeah, right. The stature is the difference, and you think it would be the rebounds would be the other way around, right?
Right? How's that possible?
But, yeah, Givens finds his way inside, gets the rebounds, and like I said, had that nice stretch there, put up 12 points. And then Mahorcic getting to the free throw line as well was big, I think, for a few times there in that first half for Illinois State.
Givens yesterday led Evansville in rebounds, by the way, with 7. Also, the team leader yesterday with 6 assists, along with the 15 points yesterday. 12 points already today, leading the team in rebounds once again with 5. All 5'10". Shamar Givens. That's just something that you don't see every day when you're watching college basketball. Well, let's talk about the second half now as you look at both of these teams. Obviously, I think in the mind of Illinois State, since it was just yesterday, is, hey, we had a lead at halftime yesterday, too, and we lost. What do they have to do to maintain that lead?
Well, the biggest thing, and I pointed this out kind of at the beginning, is that you just look at their shot attempts yesterday. The 42, that doesn't seem like a lot. I don't know if that would beat many teams across the nation. So, some philosophies may say, well, did they kind of take a step back, thought they were comfortable with what they had in terms of a lead and tried basically play not to lose it, and then that ended up biting them in the end. I think for Illinois State, they got to stay with what they've done so far. They've been efficient. Just continue to attack, continue to get shot attempts, especially good quality looks inside where they do have the advantage with their size over Evansville. And I think, again, just kind of, keep the pedal down, keep going.
And what about the Aces? What do they have to do to secure their 5th straight win?
Well, for Evansville, you take a look. I mean, you give credit to Illinois State's defense in the first half, but Evansville really didn't have bad looks. They just weren't going in the first half for the most part. And that went off Coleman, so that'll be Illinois State's basketball. So now I think for Evansville, you got Givens involved. He's got some confidence. Now you got to start getting those other guys involved, right? And for Evansville, especially the way the last couple weeks have gone, you got to find Jawan Newton and get him going. I mean, he had that nice look, jump shot from the free throw line, but they need more out of him. Frederick King got a nice couple 3-point looks. You need the key players besides Givens. Because Evansville, that's the thing about them. They've had their balanced attack, right? 4 or 5 double-figure scores per game. They need that here today.
Of note, Samari Curtis comes off the bench and scores a lot of points for the Aces. Has not scored today. Noah Frederick-King misses the 3 there. He's now 2 of 5 from beyond the arc line. Second on the team with 6 points, but you talked about Newton, just 2 points. 2 points between Curtis and Newton. That doesn't get it done most times for Evansville. That will get it done. A drive and finish, plus the foul for Reeves. 11 points yesterday, and getting 2 to get the Redbirds going here in the second half.
Reeves out of Chicago, Illinois, taking it to the basket. He was an MVC All-Bench Team member last year. This year, he's a key player, key starter. And they need him to kind of lead the go for this team.
It's the and one opportunity to complete the 3-point play. Evansville working it up against that extended backcourt pressure. got to Kuhlman, who couldn't do anything with it. Now Fredericking for three. It will bound around and somehow drop. Anyway, anyhow, right? It goes for Fredericking that time.
And Evansville got a good look when they got the ball to Kuhlman, and I thought at first he was going to go maybe for the reverse layup, one to get away from Mahorcic coming in, but also use the rim as kind of an extra protection for him, maybe get a foul, but they kicked it out and got the three, and another answer from the Redbirds on the other end.
What a pure shot from Strong that time, just kind of pulls up. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Josiah Strong.
And he has been in double figures in 7 of their 9 games played this year, and he's another just efficient scorer for the Redbirds.
Evansville, again, very patient offensively. Newton, a little shovel pass, and that's a finish for the senior Kuhlman.
So for Newton, he's going to the basket, basically has his back to Kuhlman, but yet has somehow found the vision to find him and give credit to Kuhlman for making that cut.
Floating answer for the Redbirds rattles out. Evansville a chance to tie it up for the first time here in the second half. Returning the favor, Kuhlman finds Newton for two.
Just unselfish play, right? There's probably another instance where if Kuhlman wants to be aggressive, he can take it to the basket himself and probably draw a foul against Mahorcic. Instead, sees Newton coming in and hands it off to him.
Now Strong taking off and finishing two more. Josiah Strong heating up here in the second half.
And that was an easy look for Strong. He'll take that all day. And Evansville, they've been good defensively for most of this season, and that's not a good defensive possession for Evansville to give it up that easy.
And Kuhlman's been involved in almost everything offensively here in the second half. Cashes in for two more along the baseline.
Here we go, another little stretch where it's like a tennis match, right? Both teams kind of going back and forth with making baskets.
Can the Redbirds answer back? Here's Reeves. 7 to shoot.
There's a mismatch down low. Mahorcic being guarded by Fredericking.
2 to shoot. Pull-up jumper, fade away, off balance, won't go for Strong. Evansville looking to grab the lead. Way downtown, Noah Fredericking, another three for the senior. Evansville leads, Fredericking poses, Illinois State calls time. Evansville now, your leader. Evansville now your leader here in the second half, thanks in part to a senior stepping up.
And you take a look at this. Gibbons had that stretch in the first half where he kind of lit up. And you see where all the white jerseys kind of suck a little bit, get caught on the screen. That leaves Fredericking wide open, who now has another three-point basket made here in the second half where he had the kind bounce the first time. That one a little bit easier on a nice dish out from Gibbons. But again, because Illinois State was so aware of what Gibbons did in the first half, even though he did his damage mostly from outside, they had to kind of follow him in. And that allowed Fredericking to kind of trail up a little bit from the back end, have a nice three-point shot. And you see the three-point mark made for Evansville today.
Yeah, they have been living by that three-point shot, the best in the country. And that has been working today for the Redbirds, working it inside to Mahorcic for the finish to answer back out of the timeout. Double figures for Mahorcic. Just 3 points in yesterday's affair. Levitch, a little too creative with a pass. Run out opportunity for the Redbirds. Contact. And Strong will go to the free throw line. When we come back, Evansville in front by 1. Back the Ford Center. A good game of brewing here in the second half. Evansville leading by 2. The game's been back and forth. Illinois State built an 11-point lead in the first half. Evansville rallies back to take the lead here in the second, and that big run has been in part to Mr. Strong. A strong start to this season for Josiah Strong.
Strong start, and now getting ready to go to the line. You see those numbers and the efficiency shooting-wise just from the floor. But his three-point percentage, right? I mean, 47% from three. He's pretty much knocking down 1 out of every 2, basically have his three-point attempts. I mean, I wish I could do that.
Don't we all? This will be an over-the-top foul on Mahorcic, battling with Kuhlman for the rebound, and we talk up Strong, who just missed both free throws at the line. 67% free throw shooter on the season. Probably should have just taken a couple of steps back behind the arc line and shot those. Team's leader in assists, 10 points yesterday for Strong. It's 6 today. Evansville by 1 with the basketball. They've been trying to solve this Illinois State zone all afternoon, as Newton will get involved with the offense here in the second half. The jumper from the foul line, that's a money spot for him on the floor.
Yeah, that's where he basically got going in the first half when they, again, took him off the wings area where he's dealing with some length around this matchup zone defense and got inside where he had a little bit more room to shoot it. And again, you brought this up earlier as Mahorcic battles inside of Fredericking. That's a nice solid foul from Fredericking to make sure he doesn't get the N1 opportunity. But what I was alluding to from you earlier, we haven't seen much of Curtis, right? When he has been in the game, especially in that first half, he just didn't look comfortable out there on the floor as we take another look here.
Watch the switch to get Kuhlman switched off of Mahorcic.
And they had that mismatch earlier. They didn't get it to him because it was late in the shot clock. They did that time. But like I said, a good solid foul from Fredericking to not allow the three-point play. But yeah, Curtis just didn't look comfortable in the first half, and we'll see when he'll jump in maybe here in the second half. But he's, again, a double-figure type scorer for Evansville that we haven't seen or heard much of here today.
Mahorcic, just a 33% shooter at the line, hit his first today. Missed them both, and all of a sudden, in the last few minutes, the Redbirds have gone 0 for 4 from the free throw line.
And they missed a few yesterday, too. I mean, it wasn't a terrible percentage from the line yesterday for them, but they probably could have made a few more based on what they saw.
Redbirds 3 of 8 at the foul line today. Kuhlman with another finish inside for the Aces.
And that time, he was able to finish. We saw him earlier have a similar look, but decided to kick it out. That time, he decided to keep it himself.
They left Mahorcic alone, had enough time to think about it, dial it up. He's having a good time with the fans who have been kind of razzing him here today at the Ford Center. They razzed him about the free throw. He made it, and then he hadn't made one since. Then hits that 3 and points over to the crowd. I'll just take 3.
But
get this one at a time stuff.
As a competitor, and especially with the way this year's gone, you gotta love that at least there's some fans razzing you, right?
Gotta love it. Thanks for that. That's what it wasn't an admonishment. It was a thanks for that kind of point that time.
Because for a lot of places, especially earlier last summer when there were no fans at a lot of sporting events, it was just weird. It was just quiet. But when you have that little razzing and the heckling, you know you're back to playing sports.
Please tell me we don't get to the point we put little speakers on the cardboard cutouts so that they can razz too. Let's hope this is all said and done by the time we think of that idea. Here's Levitch. Evansville's lead is 2. Newton, same spot. Defender got involved, but somehow Newton got it to go anyway.
Yeah, had to alter his shot, right?
Not sure he altered it or just found a way. You're right. He moved around. And
he corked his body differently than probably what he would have liked.
And now has his hand on the ball the other way, and the Aces will secure it. Run-out chance. Kuhlman will slow it up. Givens kicks. Fredericking 3. Big run for Evansville on that sequence, started by Newton.
Turning the hustle plays into effort points. That's what you gotta love if you're a basketball coach.
Evansville's largest lead, 7. Nice move by Reeves to step back and finish. Timeout on the court. Evansville's lead is 5. What a run we just saw by the Aces.
Get on the floor, get a few bruises, and get up ahead to turn it into some points for the Purple Aces.
"18 Final Four trips. 9 National Players of the Year. Legendary coaches and players. An iconic postseason tournament. The Valley runs deep."
Back in the Ford Center, you're taking a look at the Evansville bench, and the young man facing you with his mask on is an up-and-coming coach, an assistant on the bench for the Aces, Logan Bauman, and he is obviously dialing up plays here. And Todd Licklider, after yesterday's game, gave some high praise to his young assistant.
Right. He is, like you said, kind of an up-and-comer in terms of the coaching world and his resume, and does a great job of connecting with the players. We saw him drawing up plays, draws up very well-designed plays, doing well with the scouts. But, his resume going back to when he was at Louisville on their staff, just starting out as like a young baby, if you will, on the coaching world, but now up to going from basketball operations to now being an assistant coach here for the Purple Aces.
He was given a lot of credit, especially yesterday, in helping the Aces figure out that backcourt pressure, which they hadn't seen before from Illinois State, and to kind of have some answers to the zone. And that has helped Evansville. It helped them turn around yesterday's game, and the Aces turning this one around after being down 11. And Aruna with a basket the other way. Redbirds looking for the answer and will find it. Fleming with a nice take and finish at the rack. Evansville's lead back to 5. Aces slow it up this time. Givens, I think everybody thought he was shooting, including Inaruna.
I thought he was going to throw up that little teardrop. I think Inaruna thought he was, so Inaruna was looking to get in rebound position.
Givens, who had 12 points at halftime, has not scored here in the second half of play. And looked like he was going to run away and hide for a time. Noah Frederiking now the leading scorer for the Aces with his hot start to the second half. He's got 15. Here is Jai. Goes up and over, just can't hit the basket. And Aruna got the pass this time, but can't hit the finish.
Put a good move on there. Like I said, each game I've seen him play, he's gotten better with his development.
A lot of screening around by the Redbirds, and cashing in on a screen around goes Horn from long range.
Averaging nearly 14 points per game, can shoot it. MVC all-freshman last year. Redbirds aren't going away quietly. Of course, they never do. They are one of the toughest teams in the Valley. They fight till the end. And that's just something that Dan Muller has just instilled into his program.
Newton for 3, can't get it. Redbirds can tie it up or take the lead with a 3. Looking to extend a 5-0 run. Little out of kilter, and the Aces will intercept. Evansville would obviously like to get Givens involved again on the offense. after a great first half. So like to get that man involved. And Curtis, who will involve himself with a basket and finish.
We mentioned it earlier. He's kind of been quiet in this game, and again, just really hasn't looked comfortable going up against the Illinois State defense. Sometimes you just got to create your own spark, and getting to the basket, getting one more chance here at the line. And for a little bit there, Evansville's offense was a little stagnant.
And Samari Curtis hits the and one free throw. First points of the day for Curtis. Got back in the game, went right to the basket.
Get to the basket, and now the point defender.
And a quick three-point answer by Horn, who's heating up.
Seems like the heat has just been shared around everybody. Each person from both sides, it feels like it's had their moment of getting on a hot stretch in this game.
Horn now with 10. Redbirds within 2. Shot clock's at 7. Curtis gives it up. Newton has to create a little closer to the basket from his money spot that he'd like to shoot from. Missed it. And now here's Horn again. Strong. Jai from deep. Reeves off balance. Ties the game.
Evansville was hoping probably just to get to a stoppage so they can get Coleman back in the game. Because it seems like Illinois State now not allowing that play where earlier Evansville was getting it to Coleman when he was in the game on the baseline, then kicking it back out or allowing Coleman to take it himself out of that zone. Now Evansville seems like we can't get to that spot. What do we do?
Frederick King, the senior, looking to answer. It rattles out that time. Now Illinois State could extend this back to a lead. Horn maybe rushed that one just a bit.
Yeah, when you're feeling it like that on a good run with the momentum for Illinois State, you think maybe just stop and pop in transition.
Evansville calls timeout. We're back to where we started. The Ford Center, Evansville, Indiana, the site of this one. All tied at 56 apiece, Illinois State and Evansville. And the Redbirds have been on the run since the last couple of minutes. Evansville has been outscored 5-0. The Aces, no points in about the last 2 minutes. But you look at the stat line here, and Illinois State 56% from the floor. They're 64% from three-point range. They're not missing shots.
Yeah, in terms of their offensive percentages, they are soaring, right? The Redbirds are. They're being efficient inside and out. And like I said, it seems like at different points in the game, a different player has stepped up with a nice stretch of play. And for the last couple of minutes, DJ Horn has been the one who's been flying for the Redbirds.
Back in the game, Shamar Gibbons and Coolman for the Aces.
Evan Kuhlman and Shamar Givens back on the court for the Aces.
And Evansville going with kind of the bigger lineup here, at least down inside, with Inaruna and Kuhlman both playing together at the same time.
Got a whistle and a foul.
It's going to be on Jai. Him and Inaruna tussling a little bit down low.
That's his second. And the Aces will put it back in play. Fouls not really a factor here. 3 fouls each way.
And really, both teams have done a good job taking care of the basketball as well.
Inside again, Inaruna is tangled up. This time it's Boyd, the guilty party.
Yeah, it looks like there's a switch there for Illinois State defensively. Inaruna had the size. Boyd couldn't just quite match up with him without committing the foul.
So another inbound play for the Aces. Finding a seam, then having it blocked, but cleaning it up fittingly after all that sequence is Inaruna. How will the Redbirds respond?
They've had an answer, it seems like, most of this game. Every time Evansville has picked up the lead.
Tough shot into the defense by Boyd. My goodness.
Taking the contact, falling away. That's just good body control and good concentration to get it up and in. And once again, the Redbirds shown they had an answer. Can Evansville respond back?
Curtis got a step on his defender, missed the shot. Fighting for the rebound was Inaruna, but ultimately controlled there by the Redbirds.
Curtis can create his own shot, but that probably wasn't his best look that he could have gotten.
What a shot by Reeves. Couple of good possessions by the Redbirds to put them back in front. 12 points for Reeves. Led the team with 11 yesterday. He's had quite the series. Shot fake, Kuhlman open, hits it.
And having the wherewithal to make sure he took that dribble after the fake, right? We see a lot of players do the fake and they forget the dribble when they slide over.
It has been entertaining to watch these two trade blows in the second half. Redbirds up next. Shot up and pure from Reeves again for Illinois State. Redbirds back in front.
And another good hesitation by Reeves. He saw Kuhlman closing out. Pulls it down, puts it on the deck.
Evansville will spend another timeout, as the Redbirds are your leader. Back at Evansville at the Ford Center, a good one of Bruin. Illinois State leading by 2 as we approach 4 minutes to play. Another day for the Evansville Purple Aces. Means more three-point shots, right? They just keep chucking up threes.
That's exactly what they do, and matched the program record against SIU with 17 made threes a few weeks ago, but you see what they've done today, and pretty much right on pace, right on par with what they do. But as I say, live by the three, and for Evansville, when they've had their cold stretches, they're also dying by the three because that's just a huge percentage of their offense. But it keeps them in the game when they start hitting them, though.
At 10.3 threes made per game, if that percentage, if that number holds, would be the best ever in the Valley, as shot clock winding down, but the Redbirds end up with it and a chance to grab a 2-possession lead with a basket here. This is a big possession for Illinois State.
They haven't had a cushioned lead since early in the first half.
And they're not missing shots here in the second half, especially Reeves. 2 more there. Redbirds +4.
And that was just a good look for Reeves. He really didn't have much of a contest against him. Right into his motion.
Team high 14 for Reeves. 6 of 8 shooting today. Way downtown, the Aces needed that one. Did not get it from Fredericking. That was a big miss. And the Redbirds have it by 4 as we're under 3 to play.
And that one might have been kind of just a forced shot a little extreme in terms of the distance, I think, for Evansville.
Step back again from Reeves. 7 straight makes from the floor for the Redbirds. They lead by 6.
And now the energy is with Illinois State. The bench loves it for the Redbirds. And Evansville's got to call a timeout. They got to figure this out because not only have they gone cold offensively to kind of keep up with the Redbirds, but their defense is not doing much to stop the Redbirds right now, especially Reeves.
Same move, step in, step back, drill it. It's worked all day for Reeves, who's up to 18 now on the day. And it's all Illinois State right now. They have gone on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes in that same stretch. Evansville has not scored.
And for Reeves, like I said, it's just basically been the same move, but it seems like everything for him has been in rhythm, though. You see they're dribbling in, finds a spot, pulls up. This one going around the screen, top of the key, pulls up. I mean, it's basically near the same spot. This time with a step back. I mean, and you just don't see anything that makes him uncomfortable right now, whether it be the defense or just the motion. He is in rhythm right now, and like I mentioned earlier, it seems like it's just been a little bit of everybody for the Redbirds at points in this game. We've seen Reeves now the last couple of minutes. We saw Strong on a run earlier, Boyd, Horchich. And for the Redbirds, you gotta like that because to have just kind of that blend, right? That balance. It makes it tough to defend.
The 6-0 run, also a 10-2 run for Illinois State, and Evansville has made one of their last 4 shots from the floor. They've got to find some offense in a hurry. Givens looking for it in a hurry, missed it, cannot secure the rebound, and Illinois State has it, and they'll work some clock this trip. If they need to foul, which isn't the worst idea, the only thing they haven't made very many of today are free throws, but just keep shooting. Redbirds by 8.
Is it just me or that area, top of the circle, top of the key, they pretty much made everything they've got?
I think Strong getting involved with 2 there.
Just going off that high screen out there on the wing and come into the top of the circle and nail it.
Whistle before the shot. And a foul that goes on Reeves. And the Redbirds feeling like they really need a win coming into today are poised to get that first win in Missouri Valley Conference play on the road. Givens cannot buy it, and Evansville struggling offensively here in the latter stages of this second half at home.
And now at this point, basically under 90 seconds left to play, based on what you saw yesterday in the game, low scoring, Evansville end up getting the win. Result today right now in favor of Illinois State. Had the Redbirds kind of shown...
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, there's Reeves once again, by the way. Have the Redbirds kind of shown the rest of the Valley how do you play Evansville and defend them? Because Evansville does not look comfortable at all this weekend.
Reeves got 2 more. And Kuhlman will end a drought for Evansville, maybe too little too late. 8-point game under a minute to go. Aces will foul. That's just the 4th team foul. I talked about free throws. That's the only thing Illinois State's not done well offensively. 3 of 8 here today, but it has not mattered.
It's going to be a little bit because Evansville still has a couple fouls left to give.
Not many free throws shot in this game. Evansville only 1 make in 1 attempt. And they're going to get more fouls here.
20 points from Reeves. Wow.
Yeah, what a day. Keep fouling the inbounds pass. Levitch called that time.
Doubling his average for the season.
Aces tried to intercept the pass that time. Givens knocked it away. Evansville's going to need some magic to keep that winning streak going.
And for the Redbirds, such a huge win. Not only the first win in the Valley, which they need to kind of propel themselves going forward in the Valley standings, but also they were 0-6 on the road this year. They needed this road win just to give themselves some confidence that, hey, we can kind of take our game from the home court to the road as well. And, of course, when you get into the Missouri Valley Conference season, you have to have road wins. You have to find a way to win on the road.
Strong, a 67% free throw shooter on the season. Hits the first.
Especially maybe even more vital this year with the setup of the schedule. Normally you have the split kind of 1-1, so you at least want to protect your home court in that situation. But now going on the road, you're looking to at least split on the road with these 2-game sets.
Missed the second. 3-possession game, Evansville. Not much time left. Oh my goodness. And that is how the first half or the second half, at least the latter parts of it, have gone for the Aces. Givens, an open lane inside, couldn't hang on to the ball. Expecting the Aces to foul. Newton will. 36 seconds to go, but what a big afternoon this has turned out to be for Illinois State, getting what appears to be a much-needed win. This looks so similar to yesterday. Big lead early for the Redbirds. Evansville rallied. Yesterday, at about the time they took off, though, today, the Redbirds went quiet for a 7-minute stretch yesterday. And today, they have stepped up and hit virtually every shot they've thrown up.
And play good defense, limiting Evansville's opportunities, not allowing them to get too comfortable.
Big 3 there for the Aces. But the lead is 7.
And I really think, Illinois State had a good offensive day, but really for the most part this season, they've had good offense with their efficiency. Like I said, they have a good balance of scoring across the board where, the focal point's not just around one guy scoring 20 or more. They can balance their scoring with just getting a few guys in double figures. Very dynamic. But today's win has to be credited to their defense.
Not really finishing well at the line are the Redbirds here. Levitch, that's another 3 to make it a 4-point game. Here come the Aces fouls. You don't think, do you? Is there enough time for all this? Goodness.
For Evansville, Newton had the big day yesterday, but only 8 points today. Kind of a slow start earlier in the game for Kuhlman a little bit. Of course, Curtis not having the impact off the bench that he normally has, which he had a kind of a down game yesterday as well, 3 points.
Well, let's make it interesting. Why not? Redbirds struggling at free throws down the stretch. A 4-point game with 17 seconds to play. Neither team will have a timeout remaining. So, just when it looked as if the Redbirds might run away and hide and get that much-needed win, here we sit in a 4-point game with seconds remaining.
Yeah, thanks to Jack Love just hitting 2 3-point baskets for Evansville, but now the timeout called for Illinois State. You go into the huddle, you set up the situation. Of course, if you make it, you have plenty of time to set up your defense. Probably a little bit more pressure in the full court than what they normally have shown throughout this game, just to make Evansville eat some clock a little bit, just to get the ball down the floor. But if it's a miss, now you have to be ready. You have to get back.
Jax Levitch, again, you said it earlier, doesn't shoot a whole lot, but boy, when he does shoot, you expect that. You expect it's going to go in.
He's so efficient, right? But yeah, let me say if it's a miss, still kind of apply maybe some one-man pressure on the ball handler to still make Evansville eat some clock, but the rest of the people have to get back just to make sure they don't give up the quick basket to Evansville, because it's still 17.2 seconds. A quick basket would be not so ideal for Illinois State at this juncture.
What they really want is a free throw from Reeves here.
They need it.
But either way, it's still a 2-possession game. 73-68. Evansville does have to hurry. Levitch did not have an open look. Newton will force it. No. Redbirds rebound, and they will win it. The timeout settled them just a bit. Illinois State gets their first Missouri Valley Conference win of the season. It comes on the road in Evansville. thanks to a career high from Antonio Reeves.
Just an outstanding performance from him, leading the charge, leading his team here today. And now Illinois State has momentum that they need going forward. Evansville, it snaps the win streak for them, but they got to look ahead to start a new one.
For Preston Leinenbach, I'm Kyle Peach. Thanks so much for joining us here from Evansville as Illinois State wins it 73-68. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Thanks again for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN.